Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here. Today's date is Friday, August 1st, 2025. Now, let's chat for a minute before we get into the current events and tarot, although the chat's going to be a little bit about current events. I could tell by reading some of the comments on my YouTube channel that there were people that had what I thought was a little too optimistic hope for what August 1st was going to bring. And that was why I tried to do a video that just said, hey, as far as, I can see the big news, and it is going to be bigger news as time goes on. It's big now and it's going to get bigger, is the fact that the tariff situation was going to be more fully implemented as of August 1st, which means a brand new revenue stream coming into our country here in the United States, and the potentials for that are really fantastic. Now, we know we're looking for other good financial news too. We're looking for the end of the fiat dollar. We're looking for, I don't know if I can say all the different terms that we're looking for, but we're looking for more than that. And that's okay. But we got to understand that the change that's going on in our world has more to do with things than just money. Although money matters, and we live in a world where that's how we buy things, sell things, it's just unfortunately part of our life. So it is an important consideration, but it's not the only one. Because when we look at the change we want to have happen, we're looking at ridding our world of evil that has had thousands of years to get themselves securely into place, have their fail-safe plans put into place, have their plan B, C, D, E, F, and on to Z ready to go. And we're fighting a big, big war. I do believe the war's been won, but as I said to someone just a while ago, I said, even when you have a war, there's still a potential for losing some battles. And that doesn't mean the war is not going to be lost, but we have to understand that there's still battles that can be lost, or gains that can be lost. And so there's still definitely some fighting going on a lot of levels, not just the physical, spiritual, physical and spiritual one, emotional battles and battles for our attention and for where our thoughts go and what our frequency is. There's lots of things vying for our attention, and those that want it to go higher and those that need it to go lower. And so part of what I do here is just remind you, you control your emotions. You decide what you're going to think about, focus on, and how you're going to frame your feelings and thoughts about the world. But let's talk about the world, because I do believe there is some positive things happening that we should always notice. And one of those things today, I'm going to take you to a larger view of what I used for my thumbnail. And let's talk about that, okay? So let me take you to a share screen. We're going to talk about a few things. First of all, there was a tweet by Dan Scavino Jr. that caused a lot of chatter, and he got very busy with the tweets. And when he does, there's always communications involved with this, and they're usually along the line of, hey, progress has been made, or they issue a warning to the dark cats, or just tell you, 5 by 5, everything's okay. Some combination of that is usually going on with his communications. But let me take you to that share screen. I'll show you the one in particular that I'm discussing, okay? Here it was. He said they, and then in comment, Dems, thought Trump and those close to him would be in prison by now. That was their end game after a long 9-year journey. But he's back, and the cover up is unraveling before our very eyes. Buckle up and sleep tight, y'all. You know who you are. TikTok. Well, then I added one of these white rabbits from Alice in Wonderland theme for the TikTok thing here. But what I noticed was there's 7 C's, and other people noticed it too here in his tweet. Now, think about the English language. There is no way to draw out the C sound. It's always short. You can repeat it, but you can't draw it out. There's no way to draw it out. If he was wanting to have that simply be back, he would have had the A's that were drawn out. But he chose the C's. Makes you wonder what's going on. Well, then I went and looked to see what's happening in the first few days of August, according to some of the annals of the 17 team. And look, for August 2nd, it says something big is about to drop. And he did say, buckle up, TikTok, Something big's about to drop. That almost rhymes, doesn't it? So I want to ask the universe about these 7 C's today in our video. I read some interesting anon comments about what that could be. Some said it may be a different form of saying 7 C's, the 7 C's, which means worldwide. That maybe it was there's some communication going on about a worldwide things to celebrate or events that are happening. Then, if you think about in the spiritual context, in scripture, sevens usually indicate spiritual completion. If you look at it simply as an angel number, that talks about spiritual growth, intuition, and inner discernment. Now, I think that it's a little more fundamental than that because Dan Scavino doesn't usually go woo. He doesn't go spiritual. He's political as far as what he shares. And I personally think that he's talking about C's before communications before D class. We've had some. We've had some really gratifying in the last month things that were declassified, things that have shown us that there was a lot of planning and misdirection going on to produce the Russia collusion story or narrative, or I think hoax. So things are coming to light, but there's more to come. There's a lot more to come. There's things that have been. And we had some gratifying news this week, too, because Kash Patel found thousands of previously classified documents. I hope they're previously classified. In burn bags in a hidden room at the FBI headquarters. So lots of things are going on and there's lots of potential. I think what was being said there, first of all, deep state was kind of like buckle up, we're after you. The line is advancing, and I think it's talking about communication. Comms are coming out fast and furious before more declassification. So I do think we can anticipate declassification. I also noticed that Dan Scavino Jr. not only posted that, but he reposted it twice in fairly quick succession. I didn't do an analysis of what time each one was done or anything like that, but I know that when he and President Trump repeat a post or repost something, it's significant and they're wanting us to pay attention to it. So he did want us to know his thoughts on that matter. Okay, that he's back. So let's see what the C's mean. Let's ask the universe for some insights and information about that. And in the meantime, I do think August is going to be a busy month. I think if we have a very specific expectation for what we'll see in August, whether it's involving money or justice steps or anything like that, we may be in for disappointment. But I think what we can expect and plan on and help me manifest because we co-create our reality is lots of events that move us towards the light, towards an end of debt slavery, the fiat dollar, whatever it may be, and possibly even some cosmic events may start to happen that will kind of work in conjunction with all of what we're doing here and what's being done in, alliance with us, and we'll see what happens. So I think August is going to be an interesting month. I think it's going to be an eventful month, but I don't want to have very tight and specific expectations because if you have general expectations, they can be exceeded and you get pleasant surprises. If you have specific ones, you're not as likely to have a pleasant surprise. So let's set ourselves up for some pleasant surprises and let's see what the universe wants to say in along that same line about those 7 C's that were used in that social media post by Dan Scavino. I'm going to switch the camera, let you watch me work with the cards, and we'll find out together what's up with those 7 C's. So our question today is, Dan Scavino had a tweet, a social media post that talked about Trump being back and TikTok, the clock is ticking for whomever would be concerned about that. I have no worries. I'm glad he's back. So we want to know what the significance was with the very deliberate inclusion of 7 C's in back because it doesn't pronounce right. Back. It would be back. So I'm thinking there's a significance. Let's see if there is and what it might be, plus additional insights and information. Okay, the first card is the Three of Swords. Then we have the Nine of Pentacles, the World, Five of Swords, Eight of Swords, lots of swords, the Two of Wands, and the Page of Wands. Now it's interesting. Our question, the significance, right now we don't have a hard yes. We've just got lots of information going on here. I will help you see what it is. The Three of Swords. I think what they're saying is there was chatter recently that a deep state Trump had been successfully inserted into current events, even though we've always been told the real one is safe and protected, that for a time there had been an imposter who had gotten farther into daily events on the political level than had happened before. So whatever celebration was involved with that, we're getting told here right now that's over and done with. I think that tweet was saying part of that I'm back. They found and got rid of the interloper. That if there was one, like I said, we knew that the original Trump is always protected, and Cheyenne Mountain or Beyond the Ice Wall or uh, sipping, playing golf on another timeline while he waits for this all to play out. I don't know, but I do believe he's protected. So I think what they're doing, they were thumbing their nose at the deep state. We found your clever imposter, and he is gone. Boom. Okay, the Nine of Pentacles talks about uh, independence and sovereignty. So again, we are now independent of that imposter, if that is the case, which is a win for the world. The world is a victory card, and we've been told that the war is won. Now we know battles can still go either way, but that the war's been won, and the world card is indicating that for us here. Currently, again, that indication that there are still some battles to be fought, and battles can go either way. The five talks about temporary situations, which would be more indicative of battle than a full-scale conflagration and confrontation and conflict of any sort. And yeah, so there are still some times that there's going to be some pushback, some shoves. There's going to be a few times that there's some success on the part of evil or the deep state. We need to understand that the war's been won, but that's why we still keep our head on a swivel, because there's still some battles being fought, and battles can go either way. Okay, let's look at the near future here. So they were thumbing their nose at the deep state. I love that. I love that. We have the Eight of Swords here that just, says we're going to have still some waiting to do. We need to be willing to do that waiting and understand that if there's a reason for it, there is a schedule of events that's going to happen that we need to be aware of and just have some respect for. Again, there is a process going on of not just for our country, not just for one political party, but for the entire planet and for humanity to rid us of some controls that were artificial, constraints that were harmful, programming that was inaccurate. And there's lots going on the cleanup, and we need to understand there's progress being made. When there's no one saying give up or that it's not worth it, but it's still, I want people to stop belly aching about how long it's been taking. Okay, we weren't around for the 6,000 years it developed and got deeply entrenched. Okay, we're fortunate that we're here when it's starting to get turned around and things are changing. And so let's celebrate every win, every improvement, and stop complaining because we haven't got the whole banquet in front of us yet. It's coming, and hopefully it's coming in our lifetimes, but that's what we're getting here. We need to understand there's still some things that just are going to take some time to get resolved. Now, the strongest insight card, the Two of Wands, beautiful card, says, hey, the path forward for the entire world. Again, just a hint that what's going on for the United States, even though I'm asking for the United States and about a specific social media tweet that was US specific, it involves the whole world and this plan that we talk about. When we talk about nothing can stop what is coming and the plan. And I don't say trust the plan, but I do believe there is a plan. And I want to trust it, but I know that, if it's made by humans, it can be imperfect. because we are imperfect people living in an imperfect world. But that world, they kind of know where they want to go with it. It's a good vision and it's clear. The Page of Wands, our next insight card. This one is, I love this card. Besides the fact that he's literally wearing a white hat, which I always find amusing, is the fact that this is about cautious optimism. So even though we're being told, hey guys, you can't have it all this month, you can't have it all right away, but it's coming. We're getting this done as fast as we can according to a very well thought out plan. Okay. Um, but there's a reason for cautious optimism. I love that card. And I'm surprised at what the universe said. I thought it'd be more about D-class and stuff, but again, it does seem to be more like about the Trump um, rumor and chatter we had that there was an imposter that was successfully doing blah, blah, blah. Let's get a few more cards. Here's another five, again, talking about temporary situations. Oh, High Star, 17th, Major Arcana, definite nod to our 17 team. And then we have another eight with the Eight of Cups. And then the final one, King of Swords, another Alliance White Hat type of card. Okay, so putting these together, again, what I'm getting, again, there is some fighting that's going to continue. Like I said, there's still some battles that have to be fought. There's some final inroads that have to be made, and they will be, because we have the Star card here. Not only is that a card, that is kind of the indicator for the 17 team, but it's also a card of optimism, of nurturing, of help from above. I mean, just that acknowledgement that what happened to humans, rather than getting just completely erased and started over, that there was enough value seen in what we had, or what we had, the best expressions of ourselves, that we're getting this opportunity to become the best version of ourselves we can be. And so that means that the Team 17 has some benevolent off-world help here, and nothing can beat that as far as having somebody that's really got your six. Okay, final two cards here. We have the Eight of Cups, which talks about, again, I think it's a little nod to us, just a little confirmation again that Trump was safe and out of the action when there were some insertions, etc. And nothing to worry about. Absolutely nothing to worry about. So let's recap. One of the things we investigated today and asked the tarot for some insights on was the fact that Dan Scavino Jr. had a social media post out that included the word "I'm back" with 7 C's. And there was a lot of chatter in the alt media community discussion sites about what the significance of that might be. So we asked the universe about that, because we also noticed that tomorrow is a Delta, August 2nd, for a post by the Team 17 that says something big is about to drop. So what could it be? What's going on? We asked the universe for some insights and information about those 7 C's. I was expecting to have it confirm my thought, which was that it had to do with more D classes coming that's going to be very significant. So in other words, communication before D class. Okay, C before D. Instead, we got confirmation of something else, and I think ultimately it's even better. The Three of Swords showed up, which is a card that talks about, it often shows up when there's a 2.0 involved, definitely shows up for heartache and for untruths and things like that. And so I think what we were being told with that tweet was, that tweet was, when he said he's back, they got rid of an imposter that was pretty well embedded. And it was kind of confirmed by our clarifier card. This Nine of Pentacles often talks about independence. In other words, free to move forward and has the means to do so in a very grace-filled way. So the recent past card, the World, can't get better than that. That's always a victory card, and it's a victory for the entire world. The current card we had was the Five of Swords. Fives are about temporary situations. Just a reminder to us that we can rest assured, that God wins, that that the war has been won, but battles are still being fought, and battles can go either way. There's going to be some wins for both sides, some losses for both sides still, even though the final outcome has been determined. There's still some shove and pushing going on to slow the pace, speed the pace, to retain something, to sneak away with something, whatever. Battles are still being fought. We need to be mindful of that. Now, for the near future, we were advised, again, because there are still battles being fought, please understand that there is some waiting to that involved with that. I just personally just ask you if you're one of those that you can be somewhat frustrated that it hasn't completely all rolled out as you want, the new financial system, changing government, changing how, things work. Um, that's coming and it's coming as fast as it can, but there is some waiting involved. And we need to just keep our perspective a little bit. Like I said, that there's a war to get rid of 6,000 years of evil, and if you consider that and what's happened in the last 60 years, a lot has happened. Okay. And we're here for some exciting times, but we don't need to understand, it's like the little toddler that wants dinner. It's going to take a while to get the full banquet ready. Okay. But it's coming. It's coming. We had the a reassurance for Insight card that the path ahead is clear and they know where they want to go with it. The my favorite card in the deck, one that's on my table behind me at all times, is the Star card. The 17th major arcana, which indicates our 17 team, because we had asked if there was some significance involved with the fact that tomorrow is a delta for something big is about to drop. And it looks like, yes, according to 17 team, it is. And whatever's coming, it is coming. And we're going to be glad to see it. So we have development starting in August that will be very visible and obvious. They won't be subtle. We won't necessarily have to do quite as much combing for clues through, even though it's fun to do, through social media posts and things like that. But it looked like the significance, at least what the cards told me, for that those 7 C's in that Dan Scavino post was just kind of thumbing their nose at the deep state, saying, he's back, we caught your imposter, and sweet dreams. We're coming for you, Buttercup. And I hope they do. I hope they do. So that's it for this video and our tarot exploration of what was going on with those 7 C's. I thank you for joining me as always. And if you're willing to receive it, I give you love, light, and all things bright. Bye.